welcome back to the OPL. My name is Michael Hing, and I'm joined here at the analyst desk for week 9, day 2, I should say, with by Frosco and Raz. Guys, we just saw Sin. What? You laughing at my rocking back and forth? It's some sweet movement. It's dynamic, all right?
It is. I can't even. I ain't even lying.
It's a natural reaction. The body's just rocking, all right?
This is literally like Sin last game.
I mean, well, before we get into some pre-game analysis, I want to tell everyone about this social contest we've been running all this week. #IamOPL. If you had to pick a five players, one from each for each position, which 5 would you pick to form an OPL super team? Raz, I got yours last night. Frosco, I'm keen to get yours.
So,
dream team.
I put a twist on mine. I made it so I couldn't pick someone from the same team, because otherwise I feel like a lot of people would just...
5 separate teams represented in your dream team.
5 separate teams. So I got Tally in the top lane. I've got Seb in the jungle. I took Triple for my mid laner. I took Raze as my AD carry. And then I'm going to finish it out with Ejim. So there's my Chiefs representative there in the bot lane.
There we go.
Raz, do you see a good dynamic on that team, or are you looking at that and you're seeing some culture clashes, some personality clashes?
I mean, you have Tally and you have Mini Carbon. Like that pretty much comes perfectly on the top side. I already see like the same style.
Magic.
There we go.
Well, let us know your dream teams. #IamOPL. We'd love to know exactly how you'd put it together. And let us know as well in subsequent tweets if you think they're going to be able to beat Frosco's dream team. Yeah, let's do that. #IamOPL. You're on blast right now. Let us get to game 2 of Sin versus Chiefs. Frosco, you thought that Sin could have taken a map in this series, but they didn't look too strong in that first game. Do you reckon they're going to take it back in game 2?
It's under the asterisk of if they adjust their draft.
Sure.
So Rymeister decided to go for the Victor that game. No doubt that he can play Victor. It's just not really his specialty. He's more on high mobility champions, assassin-based champions. LeBlanc, Diana, of course, is the big pocket pick. And so I have faith that Sin can take a map still off of the Chiefs if they play that style of composition, if they play those picks. I think if we have another AoE, Victor, Wombo, no.
See, that's the key right there, right? Every team seems to kind of be finding out what their style is or embracing it. Like Tainted Minds are like, hey, you know what? I like this bot lane. But then it feels like
Sin try to play against theirs.
They change up their style a lot. They're still not sure what they want to focus towards. They still know that Rai is their king there. And then they stick him on Victor. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So do you think they can take a map, or are you going to stick with your 2-0 prediction?
Oh, I got 2-0.
2-0.
I'm going to the bank.
This guy's
biased. This is the one time I'm not flip-flopping.
You don't even want to give a prediction with like caveats like Frosco did. You know, they could do it if they did this. No,
they could just play Teemo in 5 lanes.
To be fair to him, they just beat Sin in 21 minutes, so he's probably sitting pretty high and mighty over there. He's like, this is fine.
So if they're gonna take this second game, how are Sin gonna do it? What are the win conditions they can utilize?
So I have to explain to you like why Sin are my favorite team. I love teams where they only have one, like they only can do one thing, but they do that one thing so well that it helps compensate for all the other kind of missteps. And so it's Sin going back to the identity. 1-3-1, play the split push, put Rai on high mobility.
Well, let's see if Sin can do it. We're going to go right now to Rusty and Rogi to take it away, boys.
No funny transition. Couldn't think of one in time, unfortunately, but thank you so much regardless. But into the match, it looks like Chiefs are one step closer to their semifinals lock-in, and unfortunately for Sin, they're one step closer to relegation. So warning lights here for them.
Yeah, difficult proposition for Sin to try and get themselves back into a second game after a game like number 1. But honestly, and in my experience, they've lost so hard that it doesn't really matter. And they've actually just come full circle to being back in form again. It would not surprise me to see Sin still play well in the second game.
Yeah, well, let's see what Sin can pick out. You heard Frosco mention she didn't like the Victor on Rymai, so hopefully he goes something back to more his flavor to kind of give this Sin roster what they need. Kind of stand toe-to-toe to the juggernaut of the Chiefs, who, after last game, I'm not sure they can.
And really, to give you a bit of context on what happened in that last game, Rogue did more damage than Squiggle and Juves, and one of them is a Jax. Rogue was playing his Thresh. He actually did about 700 more. That is a interesting start for the Sin roster.
Yeah, we'll use interesting. Looks like Chiefs banning away the Rise, the Rek'Sai, the Alawi also. Let's just say Rogue was doing a lot of work. He's doing a great job. He was doing a phenomenal job constantly getting the hooks under the tower. Realistically, the only kills that Sin got were off the back of his Thresh.
Yeah. There's a bright star on a dark night. I mean, Sin fixing this game number 2 being on red side, it could actually favor them as well. Rymeister on red means he gets the counter pick onto Swiffer.
Sure.
The Cassiopeia was doing work, but he picked Victor as a safe option into it. Might be respect, not playing Assassins in a Swiffer.
Sure.
We'll see.
Last few bands here will be the Talia, the LeBlanc, and the Shen for Chiefs. But you know what that opens up? It is the Vladimir, and you give Chiefs Vlad, you're kind of asking to lose.
For what it's worth, Sin do still have the Cassiopeia player in that middle lane themselves. Rymeister is a fantastic Cass player. We may have seen Swiffer win on it, but it doesn't mean Rymeister is going to be poor on it himself. It's been known as an option into the Vladimir. If you pick the Karma with it, and as a team composition, Sin could be set up to deal with him, but that's a lot of effort to deal with one person of the entirety of the enemy team.
I'm seeing the strategy here in dealing with it, but so far they give nothing away, locking in the Gragas for Juves this time. No Rek'Sai, of course, and it will be Lucian. Raps, rather, on the Lucian.
And for clarity's sake, one of the reasons the Karma's good into the Vladimir is he presses his Hemo Plague, you AoE shield everybody, it effectively negates that, especially with mid lane Karma, where you actually have ability power, so the shield increases. The Cassiopeia more has a kill threat, and so can 1v1 him in lane and defuse him. But don't know if they want to play Karma when Rogue is such a good Thresh.
Yeah, it's a great point as well. And we know Riot does have a tendency to go for those high damage, high mobility characters. Of course, Cassiopeia does give up one for the other, chooses the damage rate over mobility. But you saw how fast Swiffer was moving with the Ghost and with the Q. It was like a blur at that stage. But Chiefs lock themselves in the Sivir and the Braum here, so denying that one, potentially from Rogue, as they do already have the Lucian.
Yeah, so the Sivir Braum combo, less aggression to be seen from Raider. Of course, he can't close the distances and be in their face as much anymore.
Yep.
Almost forced away from Chiefs by first picking that one for Raps. Question mark on how he's going to perform in that role, given that the Lucian now has a Braum against him. I'd like to see perhaps a Bard from Rogue, but he always defaults to this.
Yeah, it seems after they have a bit of a loss, goes to the Alistar, another comfort pick here. Not too good against the Braum. A lot of people do tend to favor the Braum. That's why we see it picked predominantly as the better of the two tanky supports here. But Kassadin for Rymeister, so high damage, high mobility, high kill threat, but does take a while to get there.
I'm actually a personal fan of picking Trundle into the Braum opposed to the Alistar.
Okay.
You have a hard engage as an option now for Rogue, and that's going to be big when you look at the team composition that they've got. You can actually Gragas cask somebody into your Pulverized Headbutt and cover a lot of distances. It's pretty cool. They have a lot of team fighting there, and they're yet to round out their composition with Squiggle last pick.
Chiefs have a very clear-cut, strong team here, locking in that Elise for Spooks, and of course the Aurelia for Swiper in the top. Looking very menacing already. Sin, they left their last pick for the top laner. Let's see what Squiggle decides to go for. No Shen available to do anything about that Aurelia. His Jax left quite a bit to be desired. Trundle's available. Saw Maokai last series.
Yeah, Squiggle's got a lot of champions he could play.
Maybe the Naut.
It could just be that Nautilus, but he doesn't have the Thresh for the team composition, so it's not likely, although it is possible. Perhaps it is going to be that Maokai to defuse it, but into an Aurelia, it's not that great. Echo also doesn't really work into Aurelia, you get pushed out. He does choose this though.
I feel like if they went for a tanky top lane, they would have been forfeiting a lot of damage, but going for that Jax here. Maybe last game they just got to brush it off their shoulders, think, this time I'm going to do more damage than you, Rogue, just you watch.
And for what it's worth, the Jax is still fine. He was scaling, it's just that they lost the game so early that he was never actually scaling. What Sin have put together for themselves is all about scaling. They've got the bottom lane of Raps, Rogue, and Juve's presence to actually get them to that stage. And we're very curious to see if they can get there against the Chiefs' aggression, but the Chiefs are kind of scaling in their own respect. And so it might work out for Sin.
Presence was something that Juves heavily lacked last game, so let's hope he can kick it up a notch coming into game number 2, where realistically every single member on Sin has to kick it up a notch, because Chiefs, they looked unstoppable in that onslaught of a last game. And you mentioned Sin, they are a team that needs to scale up. Chiefs probably just going to turn it on from the get-go.
Yeah, it feels like Chiefs, even with the team composition, have set themselves up in a much more standard manner. They've got the Sivir full wave clear if the Vladimir's not available. Vlad can still afford to split push, not that successfully against a teleport by not having one himself, but it's always a possibility.
Alrighty, guys, if you want Chiefs to close it out, lock themselves in that semi-final spot and send poor Sin to relegations, hashtag CHF winner. If you want Sin to take this all the way to game number 3, keep their dreams alive, hashtag Sin win. Get on over there to Twitter. Let us know your team compositions as well, see if it beats Frosco's.
They do have the best hashtag Sin, with the
Yeah,
rhyming
they do.
Sin win, but they are definitely in a dangerous spot here, 1-0 down with everything on the line for both of these teams. The Chiefs, if they win this next game, they've secured a playoff slot. Sin, they need to come back or they might get into relegations.
It's a very daunting process ahead of them. They really need to pick up a W here and then another one after that. So a momentous task. Can they do it getting into game number 2? Chiefs already up in 1 game after an onslaught. 20-minute GG. Poor Sin couldn't hold their own. But we are into game number 2, an entirely different story. Sin, they've got the scaling team composition. See if they can make it count.
Sin now invading quite aggressively. Ejim making the mistake that we saw from Sin in game number 1, but not to be found as he reacts quick enough.
Yep, throws out a nice Winter's Bite to keep them at bay. Just going to be going for the deep vision. Another one, 100% hit ratio. Onto poor Squiggle here. Getting those lane swap wards down. Ejim not going to have the attack speed to take that one out, and of course, no one else to help him do it. Doesn't look like the likes of Chiefs have really pushed up into the red side jungle to get their own wards down, though. So maybe just going to be going for the blind predictions.
Yeah, it may well be, of course. The super deep movement by Sin might indicate that they want it. They have the Alistar Lucian, which is a one-way street in terms of its success. Braum has the level 1 power. The Alistar does not, but the level 2 turns around for Rogue and Raps, where they can all in. However, doing that against the spell-shielded target makes that infinitely harder. And so I'd say ideally Sin get a lane swap, Chiefs get the standard, but Chiefs do not really care. They are a macro team.
See if it favors them in this game. Game number 1. Quite heavily favored them. We see Rhymeister rocking that Southern Cross Cassin skin. Very, very pretty to look at here. But he is up against Swiffer, rocking the Bloodlord Vlad. No Nosferatu. So
Thankfully. That skin is not too great.
hey, Atlas likes it. It's all right.
Atlas likes it because it's not great. That is actually on record saying that.
Great personality there. Rogue just trying to be a nuisance onto Spook. Spook's having none of it. Getting off the auto attacks when he can, but Rogue is just not letting up right now. Wants to go for the Pulverize. Gets that and a Wolf. Really being a nuisance, trying to reset that one. Spooks, he's just straight up going, that's enough. Gets ignited as well. The Wolf's chomping down. Gets the smite. And walks away.
So he does get out. Of course, he has a refillable potion, and using those is fine. He's lucky to get the Wolf because he misses the smite. That was super aggressive from Spooks. That's the kind of thing that you can get punished for. But because it's an Alistar, he can afford to do that.
Yeah,
Even using the Ignite is okay from Rogue.
Yeah, like a 13-second cooldown on that Q at level 1, but that paves the way for Juves to go in and take away this blue buff.
Yeah. It means that there's 100% not going to be a gank from Spooks in that middle lane for about the next minute. Unless he just hard goes in at level 2. Might want that red buff first. Also doesn't have a blue, so his mana pool is lacking. Whereas everyone else is just going to be standard lane swapping.
He went for a very greedy start and got punished for it here. Swiper will be getting himself that tower. Minions getting aggroed here. Just trying to keep it alive as long as possible. There he goes. We'll be getting the nice bounce on the wave.
Yeah, does well there, Swiper. Maybe could have waited for another hit to be a little bit more efficient, but he is the benefactor of a lot of farm right now that the Jax does not have because they're still trying to take that top lane turret. It will fall here.
You should be able to get it no troubles.
But look at the difference between top laners already.
Well, that was the thing, right? Radiant was just chucking down their ricochets on the minions, and it was pretty much easy pickings for Swiper to just Blade Surge his way through and take what he can.
Yeah, and this is the thing. So he gets here really quick to the top side radar, which means he'll push more efficiently. Might actually catch up in a bit of farm. Contrasting that, however, to Squiggle, who's not getting farm himself because Raider gets there early, means that there's a 3 CS hole that Jax is in.
It's kind of reminiscent of level 1 here. Spooks might be in trouble. The teleport actually coming through. Sin, they're all inning here, giving the first blood over to Raps.
Yeah, that was really aggressive from Spooks. Once again, making a mistake. This is a good move from Sin. And a swing in tempo, you would say, almost favors them. Aurelia, under the turret, needs to show some respect and go back to base. Probably can't actually use that teleport to get top lane.
Looks like Rhymeister's teleported back into the mid lane, picked himself up the Dark Seal as well as a Ruby Crystal. Swiffer just doing a great job keeping the lane where he wants it. In his control. Should have enough time to recall back, make his way to that mid lane. Both teams just taking over these towers. Top's going to fall first for the Chiefs.
It may not because there's only 2 people hitting it, so they're actually a bit less efficient in that respect. They are just doing it as a 2-man unit. Swiper will come up eventually. It'll be the next wave where it'll actually go down. And things may coincide relatively even, except for the fact that Spooks died and is being massively out-jungled now by Juves because he made aggressive decisions that were ultimately not necessary. He should have expected a lane swap.
Juves might be in trouble here. Gets the fangs sink into him. Juves are coming in. Can Rogue do anything about it, but it is going to be Spooks getting himself out safely. Both turrets go down top and mid. Top and bot, rather. Both top laners being the sole benefactors of the gold.
This movement mid, unless they dive Swiffer, it's not going to work out too well. But they know Spooks has no mana, and so they push in aggressively to look for damage. They also have a double buff Lucian ready for them.
Speaking of aggression, Rhymeister jumps over the wall onto Spooks. Can they do anything? A nice flash body slam from Juves. Is it enough though? Rye, he's very, very low. Here comes a Vladimir ghosting his way in. The double buffs Rat. Can he make anything happen here? No. Swiffer just takes down Juves. Now has his sight set on the Lucian Wrap, doing what he can to stay alive. Not going to happen though. Flash from Radiant gets the stun. One more auto attack should do it. A Swiper picks up Rogue in the mid lane. Sin, they try to go aggressive and Chiefs collapse.
They're aggressive to a fault right now, Sin. The Chiefs were there. They spent a lot of time hitting the mid lane turret instead of actually either collapsing or committing to the push. And that's enough time for the Chiefs to actually get here, to help out in that fight. And now the advantage that Swiper has grows even further with the kill. The Vladimir ticks level 6 and locks down Rhymeister whilst he's killing everybody else just by pressing his R key on him. And everything is as it should be based off game number 1 all over again. The Sin roster start better. They don't finish it off.
That's exactly right, Chiefs. Now group as 5, get themselves that mid lane turret back off. Is this time for Sin to maybe answer with a tower of their own, but of course Swiffer, he's still there. No summoners available, but it's very, very hard to dive a Vlad, considering Juice, he's only level 5, no explosive cast available.
This is actually really diveable because he has no summoner spells in his half health. There's 5 people here.
If they want to go in on this one, Swiffer, keeping himself at a safe distance from the tower. Sin should be able to pick this one up. It's getting lower and lower, but once Raid is there, it's very, very hard to Sivir. So much AoE.
Yeah, they don't commit to taking the turret down. They're actually looking for what felt like primarily just Swiffer. So the Sin roster try once again to make an advance, to try and make a move. They don't get that move to work. This is not the best start for Sin, but it was the best start for Sin. They threw it away.
Try getting your head around that one. Sin are definitely struggling with it right now. First dragon of the game will be Mountain, as we see Chiefs kind of poised around there. Spooks just taking away the crab right here, walking through the river.
Oh, big Samuel. Spooks thinks he's Sybil. He's gone for the mobility boots on the Elise with him. Look how fast they're moving at the moment.
Ships passing in the night of Squiggle. Remains undetected as he goes down to the bot lane here. 3 members of Chiefs culminate at this dragon. Should be taking it out no problem, but here comes Rye, here comes Squiggle. Pose a definite threat right now. The Chiefs have to appreciate.
You would expect them to commit to that Drake once they see Sin actually doing the blue buff. So the trade's there. Swiper has to show some respect now. He's not too far away from that level 6 point, you would imagine. And once he ticks that, he might have a bit of extra wave clear. But this will eventually be a Drake that goes down. The question is, at what cost? Is Swiper safe? Can Juves and the rest of Sin actually get it done?
Ejim's recall, make his way back up to top tower, keep Swiper safe. Dragon does fall once Radiant so graciously comes over to help Spooks clear that one away now. Radiant does have the bot lane all to himself, only Squiggle there, who doesn't really pose much of a threat right now. Swiper in the top is doing his best to last hit, so we saw Sin grouped as 3 or 4 around that blue buff. Didn't really get anything out of it. Rye still here in the mid. Just toe-to-toe with his Vladimir right now, not really getting any advantages. Of course, it's very hard when your lane opponent is 2-0-1.
So for what it's worth as well, they're actually wasting a lot. Agent really wants this. He's not going to get it. He will get it. Juves wants it more. Ult it, Juves.
Jumps his way out of the Winter's Bite. Not
All
gonna
right,
happen.
what I was going to say is Juves actually probably should not have been with Raps and Rogue throughout that siege on the top side of the map, but they didn't have vision at the Drake. They didn't know where the Chiefs were, but ultimately his best asset is hiding himself on the map. The Chiefs may not have actually done that Mountain Drake if he was invisible.
Rymeister definitely barked bigger than his bite right now, but wants to go for it. Swiffer should have that blood passive stacked. But Rye gets out of range before he can trade with him. Chiefs actually on the Rift Herald right now.
Flirting
Sin
with
no.
danger. Teleports are in to try and stop this one.
Gonna collapse Juves. He is level 6 Rogue. Gets a nice knock-up. Swiggle in the midst of the fight. Can he get anything done? No, he's gonna get blown up immediately by Swiffer, whose user goes. A nice 3-man Hemoplate Rogue. One more auto attack will stun him up. Raps and Juves have to respect the damage coming out. Right, he's got no mana. There's nothing he can do to help this fight.
They have to back away. Swiffer gets a lot of health back with his ulti also. As the dust settles, Swiper is the major strength point that is still present for the Chiefs. Rymeister having no mana can hurt.
Oh, he just flashes straight on top of Rymeister. See you later, Cassidy.
It's almost too easy. Cassidy, of course, does not have a teleport of his own. It's about to be available, but it wasn't. And now the Chiefs, once again, that was a fight where they had a lot of health missing. They still actually come out ahead on this. Sin's biggest strength has usually been their ability to team fight. That was how they almost took the series against Avant through this. The Chiefs are showing them how it's really done.
Yeah, they're doing a great job at target selection tonight, constantly reevaluating the threat and adjusting for it adequately to ensure that no one goes down. And
They really want Raider.
he used the teleport to get there, but Raider just walks his way out of this one with only level 1 boots.
They were trying to catch him napping for a recall. He's
gonna
even
happen.
baiting now.
Spell shields that one away. Gives him the nice try on the back of that one. Rusty level BM.
Yeah, man. Even I don't do that.
I know, all you do is call him a solo queue team.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't say nice try.
All right, fair enough. You see Juves just taking out a little ward here. Good job to ensure that that Oracle's buff doesn't give him any actual ward clearing potential.
And I do stand by that statement as well. The Chiefs are making it look like it, that's for certain.
Yeah, definitely.
Juves might have found Ejin here, level 4.
He
does
just
take
turns
a lot
around
of
and
damage.
starts headbutting him because he knows that Spooks is there. The Cocoon narrowly avoids the back end of Gragas.
And it wasn't just Spooks nearby, of course. There is a wandering Swiffer within touching distance of his team. And still the major benefactor of all of this aggression is actually Swiper. The big Aurelia that had a massive Aurelia series last time we saw the Chiefs play. Back on that champion twice in a row, something that I'm surprised he's honestly still getting.
Down in the bot lane with no one from Sin able to go toe-to-toe right now as we see Rogue may have been caught in transition. Only level 4, no ultimate available, but it flashes in, trying to get the 4-man knockup, gets deleted immediately, but on the backside, he is able to take out Ejim, so support for support, but love the way that Rogue's brain works in that one. Gets caught, just instantly flashes in, gets the 4-man knockup, translates into 1-for-1, which realistically should have just been a free Chiefs pick.
No, seriously incredible decision-making from Rogue for what it's worth. I said he was the shining light, and it does seem to hold true. Doesn't matter what he's playing. He is a star support in the OPL right now, so definitely give him some credit. The rest of the Sin roster have actually got it together in this game number 2. It feels a little bit more like them. The Chiefs are just beating them when it comes to the crunch, and these team fights break out.
Drone and Dragon spawning in a minute and a half. Let's see if Sin can maybe use some of that 1-3-1 magic to start pressuring the other lanes.
They're not far away from being able to do that.
Yeah.
It's the problem being that Rymeister can't fight Swiper at this stage in the game, especially not after the next recall that he gets in if he goes for the Hex Drinker, which is likely, especially given that Squiggle has a fair bit of magic damage in a primarily physical dealer.
great point to mention. We'll see if he picks that item up. Ping's going down left, right, and center. Rogue still only level 4, but Adrian's still level 5, so missing 2 very crucial ultimates at 14 minutes in the game.
A lot of rotations have actually been seen on Summoner's Rift. This has been very much about map movements. That's where Sin are trying to run the Chiefs around. Not always working, but it definitely has seen some moments of positive action. And realistically, I am liking what I'm seeing from Sin at the moment.
Doing a good job so far. They know that the Vladimir is ahead currently 3-0-2. Don't really know how they're going to deal with this threat, but hopefully they can just keep curling him around the map. And I just hope that the problem sorts itself out.
It doesn't always work like that, right? If I had math homework to do.
Well, he's in a bit of trouble here. Spook sinks the fangs. Brady coming around, turns it around. There's Rye. They might have caught Spooks. He gets caught out. Now Rye's in trouble, though. He's going to go down one more attack. Gets a double kill on the back end, but look at the fight. Swiper in the back line doing work right. He might go down to the Hema place here. Can he get a Q up in time? No, he's still alive. Swiffer has to flash over the wall. Swiper's still alive, just being an absolute menace.
Swiper's still going
right now.
Squiggles nearby. These two, I think Swiper wins this.
Yeah, he's just going to take him out. Swiffer is going to be coming through. Gets the slow proc off the E. A double kill for Swiper. And what looks so good for Sin turns into a 4-3.
Yeah, it just keeps happening. Again, a great engage from Sin with Gragas and with Alistar. But it just doesn't amount to enough damage or follow-up from Rymeister. He has his items, but he's level 9. He doesn't exactly have the follow-up damage past his initial burst. Spooks is a fragile champion right now on this Elise. And it doesn't matter if they kill that Elise. They've got a 4-0-3 tank Vladimir and a 5-0 Aurelia to back up that damage.
Yeah, Swipe was just on the back end of that one, just giving Rogues and Raps hell the entirety of the fight. Props, of course, to Rye, recognizing that potential all-in that he went for, getting themselves 2 kills. Another one.
And it does feel like we're creeping closer and closer to a situation where Sin might be able to execute a team fight against the Chiefs. But if it keeps happening how it is, and they keep getting Swiper and Swiffer further ahead through these almost wins, then really it's not going to work out like that once they hit the point that they should be. The breaking point is nearing.
Raps has got himself a sizable CS lead over Radiant, but those 8 assists do add up over time.
Sin want to fight this one again.
Rift Herald just going to get himself back to starting position as Chiefs don't juggle the aggro as well as they do their team fighting. Good barrel. Deters Spooks any more aggression.
Is actually so squishy that he might lose in this game.
Radiant. Rymeister actually in trouble here. He might just go straight down to Swiper with no Rift Herald, no problem. Takes him out.
Sin's trying to go in again.
Judes the chunks of the barrel. Great block by Ejim. Spooks forced to flash, as you mentioned. Very, very squishy.
He respects the damage. It does blow the summoner spell, but the problem remains. Sin are a team that are reliant on having Rymeister split push. Jews can't really group on a Jax. That doesn't make sense. And the one time that Rymeister tries, he gets demolished.
Yeah, Swiper didn't even need to use the flash, and when you can catch a Cassidon without a flash, you know things aren't going in your favor. Swiffer able to go in. Here comes Rogue, got his sight set onto Ejim. Can they get anything out of it? Juice has no ultimate available. Swiffer just turns around. Raps is able to get the kill. Shutdown gold coming through. There is Rymeister in the back of it, gets stunned up by the Cocoon. Not going to matter. Radiant just pumping out crits right now.
And Chiefs are just pumping Sin once again. They get these big team fights. It's aggressive moves from Rogue, but all he could find was one target. He expected an engage under the turret, it seems. Blows the ultimate early. Ends up paying for it. Another team fight, another acceleration of gold. They're starting to look better and better.
18 minutes in the game, and they're already threatening the inhibitor turret. Can Jude, Rogue, and Squiggle do anything to stop them? Here comes Squiggle trying to get his way in, but Radiant just dishing out the damage. Inhibitor turret down to about a 3rd HP right now. And Chiefs finally decide they've had enough.
Yeah, but they do hold the fort here, Sin. They push them away. It's a good opportunity to work down the middle lane. They could take his cheeky Rift Herald if they really find it necessary, because somebody has to go bottom from the side of the Chiefs. And Swiper doesn't have his teleport just yet. Good window of opportunity.
Swiffer is up and healthy, though. No Hemoplage available. Only the Ghost in terms of big cooldowns here. 5 members of Sin strong on the Rift Herald. Brady's in the bot lane, so that should give sign. The Chiefs want to just give this one away.
So they will concede this one, Chiefs. There's no real reason to go too hard for it. You might want to give Squiggle an out.
Regime just chucks down a Winter's Bite on the way out of that one. Ping's going down on the blue buff by Chief. Swiffer should be getting himself that one. Big push happening in the bot lane as Radius setting that one up for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and it's been slowly set up. I actually think Raider should go back to base. He hasn't in quite a while, so I'm not sure that the Chiefs will commit to a push for this one.
Sure.
But given that Swiper has his teleport, and then he is incredibly strong at the moment, it might be a play that they do actually make. I'm curious how much gold Raider actually has at this point. It feels like he just won a team fight mid, almost got an inhibitor, and then just walked bottom.
So he might be getting a turret for his troubles as well. Sets up a nice big wave. Gets his just deserves. The turret gets out. He's going to have a big spending spree when he goes back.
You better go back to base. All right, here we go. Let's see if I was right.
Squiggle's got himself
Full
that Rift
item.
Herald now. Yep, let's see what he goes. Wow. Yep, there he goes.
I don't know what it is. There we go.
Going to be the Phantom Dance that picks that one up. Completely bought. I think he had like 3.4k gold at that stage.
Yeah, it was 3,000 purchase.
Insane.
It's a lot of money. Yep. So the Chiefs probably. So this is a consideration that you do have to make. I think they're far enough ahead that he can do that. But that's a mistake if Sin try and fight you. Sin have been showing tendencies to actually fight you constantly. They're set up well enough. They do lock it down. Food for thought.
It's about 5,000 gold, exactly 5,000 gold in the lead right now. They do have the tower lead as well, 5-2. Sin still hold all of their base at the moment. So sights may be set on the top lane outer, should Chiefs want to accelerate themselves even further. Swiper's bot. Chiefs around Baron. Baron dance might begin here soon, Rusty.
Yeah, it may well begin. Raps is actually a monster at the moment at this stage.
He is.
3-1-2 does have a lot of farm, even comparable to that of Radar. He's 40 ahead. But the Vladimir with 2 completed items, doesn't even matter if it's not armor. He's still going to do a lot of damage. So this just comes down to the engage from Sin. If it's there, then great. With the follow-ups there from Raps, people could actually still die.
They've got it in him to hold this top lane outer in the bot, of course. 6-0, Aurelia just pushing like a storm. Spooks.
What?
Not tanky yet, you're only sitting on a Negatron cloak right now. And Raps is there with the shred available. Sniper's already starting to chip away on this bot lane inhibitor. Squiggle there to defend him. Stun goes down for both of them. Squiggles doesn't land. Remember, he does have that Rift Herald. Swiffer in the mid lane, pausing Rhymeister to stay with him.
Yeah, but now they can rotate towards the top side. The second Rhymeister leaves, Swiffer has a choice, top or bottom. And right now, because Rhymeister goes top, they choose bottom.
Let's see if they can make anything happen. Just going to get some damage down on this tower, but that does cause Squiggle to have to go into full retreat. No one from Sin actually here to answer. They might just straight up brute force this turret down. Counter-strike goes through. Lands onto Swiper, but it's not going to matter. The tower goes down, and here are the rest of Chiefs, but that signals the go button for Sin. They found Swiper. Can they do anything about it? He's still alive. He's healing up with the Transcendent Blades. A great Glacial Fissure allows Swiffer to keep them all in range. Hemoplage goes down. A double kill for Swiffer. A triple kill for Swiffer. And Chiefs, in another dominating fashion, get the inhibitor, get 3 kills to their name. Could they go for the game here, Russ?
They might go for the game. They may be able to get this, but with Rhymeister and Rap still alive, there we go.
No, that could spell disaster. The cocoon comes through. Rhymeister survives by 1 stun to his name. And Chiefs, 23 minutes in the game. Do they have enough?
This is
Ropes
risky.
up.
I don't actually think they can end this one. They have to show some respect. In fact, Rhymeister might be able to get some kills here on the way out. Juves is here.
Good cocoon. Buys him a little bit of time. A beautiful W by Swiffer to avoid the Alistar engage to knock him up. It's not done yet. Juves making his
He's
way down. Doesn't have the
chasing
doesn't have the ultimate though. So realistically, there's not a lot. He's going to achieve. Radiant pops on the hunt, and they just run their way out of there.
Yeah.
Good restraint shown by the Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. They take everything that they can from that last fight, almost the Nexus with it. But only 1.5 of the turrets go down. It's still a 22-minute inhibitor taken. And the driver's seat is theirs. Sin. They've got a scaling top laner that has yet to actually scale. They've got a scaling mid laner that is currently 2-5. Rogue and Juves have actually held down the fort quite well in the way of engages. But I'm just not in agreement with this Kassadin. I feel like it's too easily punishable if you go for a hyper carry top laner.
7-0-4 on the Aurelia, 7-0-6 on the Vladimir. Two champions that Chief should not get, and here they are. They've got them. Spooksy's got himself that proto belt on the Elise. A little bit of damage, a little bit of mobility.
Like they just want to straight up go for this Baron once everybody's
They
around.
definitely
It starts with that vision. Again, they have established a fair bit of it. They might go for a quick pick instead of going for the Baron before it. But they have all of the control with Swiper threatening what feels like the Nexus.
Yeah.
Whilst they go for this Baron, they can actually start it up once he's inside the base, which is now.
Spooksy's just going to jump over the wall. Finally comes back so Egypt can get on through Radiant, making his way down. Baron falling very, very quickly, but Egypt taking a good run of damage.
Top laners fighting at the same time, so there's a battle on two fronts here.
Oh my god, Swiper just straight up destroying Squiggle behind his own Nexus.
He's about to end the
He's
game.
threatening the game.
It's really clever from the Chiefs.
Gets the tower, here comes Sin, they're going all in their last-ditch effort. I don't think it matters though, Egypt flashes over the wall, and we're going to pan to the Nexus soon enough because guess who's there? It's Swiper, knocking it down, knocking down Raps. Can he get the kill here actually? That minion buying him a lot of health. Swiper trying to get the damage down. He gets the kill onto Raps, gets the kill on, oh no, here comes Rhymeister coming on through, gets it, but it doesn't matter. The minions take the game for Chiefs, 25 minutes. Pretty much deathless. I think he died at the last minute. Poor Swiper.
Yeah, unfortunately for Swiper, he does go down, but the Nexus goes with it, so well done again to the Chiefs. That was a little bit slower than game number one, but it didn't really look like they were ever going to lose. They had such control from start to finish. It was really impressive.
Look, you could tell Ejim last night, his confidence was well earned. They're definitely back on track, but of course that does it for myself and Rusty. We'll throw it back to the desk one last time to round out the night.
Thank you, Rogi and Rusty. Frosco, Raz, Chiefs have nailed that series 2-0. Walk me through what happened in the last game.
I do want to say that the Assassin pickup did buy Sin 5 extra minutes on the Rift, so that happened.
Yep.
But otherwise,
they changed the draft like you suggested they should and bought themselves 5 extra minutes.
But they still weren't able to execute on the playstyle that really makes them successful, which is that split push. And it just comes down to Spooks having so much pressure across the map, the majority of the Chiefs solo lanes winning organically, and you think that you have to look towards Swiper on that Aurelia pickup. There was a lot of bans thrown at the top lane, Alawi kind of being the big stick out there, but it seems like Aurelia might need to join that list.
Yeah, and on top of that, Chiefs just playing like a unit. Like game 1, game 2, throughout just stomping because they feel a lot more organic now. They feel a lot more of like an actual team. So this is actually a great set to kind of be like, oh, you know what, playoffs might be a little more contentious. You know, you don't know who's coming out with Dire Wolves, Legacy, Chiefs, back in form, perhaps.
And this was always the fear, the fact that I think Carbon started the hashtag when he was on the desk, 3rd or 5th, don't take that 4th place spot. It's kind of like the MSI SKT curse, they're slumping, so they end up in 4th, and so then they turtle shell the finals and the semifinals.
Exactly.
But Chiefs are now locked in, but it was scary.
Well, here's what happened this week. Let's go through the results. Ooh. All right, sorry.
Just kidding.
I apologize. Yesterday we saw Legacy take on Abyss Esports 2-0. Avant-Garde went down to Tainted Minds 1-2. Tonight, Die Wolves closed out the Hellions 2-0. And Sin versus Chiefs. Well, Chiefs took that. That's just saw 0-2. Let's see how that affects the standings. And we see the Chiefs have now locked themselves into a place in the semi-finals in 3rd, and that 4th spot could be taken by any of Avant-Garde, Abyss, Esports, or Tainted Minds. But we do know now our relegated teams are going to be Sin, Gaming, and Hellions. That is locked in. Okay, let's take a pick. Of those 3 teams in the middle there, who's going to take that final semi-final spot?
I mean, effectively the most consistent team has been Avant. Abyss, probably are the forefront for a lot of people right now, but they had a late season surge. So I still have to go with Avant, even though Abyss, I think a lot of people are leaning towards them because they just look really nice right now.
See, usually, like, Abyss seems like the team, but man, Tainted Minds have the easier road for the last week, where all they have to do is beat out Sin Gaming. That's not looking really good. And on top of that, Chiefs, if Chiefs take down Avant, which seems natural, Like there just has to be 0 upsets, and I think Tainted Minds take it.
He asked for like a definitive answer. We're like, well, this is how Tainted Minds do it. This is the consistent one.
Pick a team, quit being cowards. All right, well, while we mull over who could possibly take that 4th spot, let me remind you as well that tickets are on sale for the OPL Split 2 finals. They're going to be in Brisbane at the Piazza on August 13. If you're not in Brisbane, you'll be able to watch it at Hoyt Cinemas around Australia. That website you can purchase tickets for is right on your screens right now. But I'd like to extend a great thank you to Frosco and Raz for joining me on the analyst desk tonight, and we'll see you next week for more OPL. Bye.